Hey out there, it's Friday, TGIF, thank God I'm free, thank God we're free. I'm at the Union Beach house, it's coming along, painting's coming along, it looks nice and neat, it looks so much better than when I first took this house back. The snow's coming. If you're in my area, then you know that we're gonna get between 3 and 27 feet of snow. All I know is that when I get done making this video, I gotta run to the store because I gotta get some bread and milk. You gotta get bread and milk. You can have like 6 loaves of bread and 20 gallons of milk, but you still need a little bit more. So let me take you for a little tour. So the living room, the floors are done, they look great. The painting's done in here. As far as the walls, I think the ceiling still has to get done. Nice and neat, right? A lot of the stuff downstairs is done. The dining room, the paint is done, floors are done. So you can see the difference with the light gray compared to the beige. Brightens it up a little bit. I don't think I told you guys or showed you guys that I got a new stove. That other stove was very similar to this one, except I could not get the glass top clean. There was so much crap on there that no matter what, I couldn't get it off. So I bought a new stove. How much was the stove? Well, that's a great question. It was $650 delivered. And my guy, I got a guy, Omega, he delivers it. So he put it in. One little thing, just in case you guys are ever putting a stove in or you got an investment property, one key feature of a CO inspection is that there's an anti-tip device that you slide the stove into, so this way you can't pull it over. The reasoning behind that is if there's ever a kid playing on the stove, it won't fall over on them. Or I guess there's a possibility that it could just fall over when the kid's on the floor. Never saw that happen, but just in case, you gotta have the anti-tip device. I have a new painter that's painting over here. Shout out to Christy. Christy is the new painter over here. Never worked with her before, but so far, I'm really excited about it. This is the master. Nothing's really done in here except the carpet's done. And here's an area that I was really, well, I wasn't concerned about, but I really wanted it to stop leaking. Now listen, if you have a leak, you want to either call your landlord and get it taken care of immediately, or if you own the house, get it taken care of. So I'm sure that I patted myself on the back many times about how awesome of a landlord I am. But if they would have called about that immediately, as soon as they saw one drip, I would have been over here. Or I would have had my roofer guys come over or somebody else. So what I had to do was I had to flash the chimney again. The chimney's only like 2.5 years old, so I'm just thinking the weather may have, I don't know what happened, but there's new flashing, there's new tar up there, and the leak stopped, which is good. So with the new trim paint, new wall paint, and everything else, it's gonna be nice and clean and beautiful. Now, with all the dirt up on the wall that high up, I said to Diane that I imagine maybe there was bunk beds in here, and that was all the kids with their dirty hands or so. I don't know. So I'm gonna try not to get too deep here. Life is interesting, right? Life is interesting. When I'm going through a struggle or something like that, it's not like the first thing I say is, life is interesting. No, I'm probably saying, life sucks, right? I don't think I do, but on a basic level, life is interesting. I'm going to give you an example. I'm in this house in Union Beach. I told you I grew up in Union Beach. And in my teenage years, even into my very early 20s, I think I could have been considered a delinquent. And the people I hung around with were delinquents. The proximity to the house that I'm in, that I'm getting renovated, ready to sell, is probably less than 1/8 of a mile from where I grew up. But I also have other connections really close. I'm in the 1-bedroom here, right? So that house back there, one of my friends, Diane, she was a tomboy. Her and I always used to hang around. I think her brother had committed suicide many years ago. That church back there, I used to hang around with my friend Timmy. We used to go into that church for some kind of Bible lessons or something. That's when I was really little, because things changed when I was in my teenage years. And you see that red school over there? This is all from the bedroom of this house that I own. That little red school over there. I was gonna go to preschool over there, but I didn't need to go to preschool for some reason. But in my teenage years, me and my juvenile delinquent friends would hang around in front of that school for hours, thinking something was going to happen exciting, drinking and smoking. That brick house right there, the mayor used to live in. He's passed away since, I don't know, I think like 10 years. But he was the wedding aficionado at my first wedding, which was also here in Union Beach. I look back at the videos that I made, and I made a video when I closed on this house. I think it's like from 2.5 years ago or something, but it was the day that I closed on this house when I bought it. The gratitude that I had for being able to buy a house, I don't think I mentioned it in the video, but now that I'm looking at the proximity, how close I am to things that have a connection to a previous time in my life, and now being able to buy a house and not being a juvenile delinquent anymore, holy cow. I think to myself, who's got it better than me? Whew. I know you guys are probably like, hey, listen, we don't need to be taking down that road of nostalgia with you, Harry. I don't know what voice that was, but I got to give you one more. So you see that deli over there? It's called Stubby's now. It used to be called Carmen's and Cornell. It was called Carmen's because Carmen owned it. And Carmen was the mayor who married me in 1991. But anyway, the connection I had to that story is my mother used to play this game where she'd need a pound of cheese or a gallon of milk, and she'd say, hey, Harold. Now, don't call me Harold, okay? My mother called me Harold. Anyway, she'd say, hey, Harold, I'm going to time you. I want to see how fast you can go get that gallon of milk. Like, oh, God, I'm like 5 years old. I am running. Come back with that gallon of milk, and then my mother would be like, 9, 10. Oh, my God. And I would feel like $1,000,000. I'm at my home, away from home. I got to pick up some supplies for the painter, Christy. And I always park in the veteran parking only whenever I come to Lowe's. It's like a magnet. I got to come over here and I got to park in this spot. So for any of you veteran purists out there, let me assure you, I am a veteran, so I can park in this spot. So they don't usually say this at Lowe's, but whenever anybody knows I'm a veteran, I shouldn't say whenever anybody does, but sometimes people will see, like when we go down to the casino, on my player's card, it has like this V thing that indicates that I'm a veteran because I get some discounts down there. I'm taking advantage of the discounts, okay? I'm just throwing that out there. But sometimes somebody on the other end, like when I give it to the lounge people or something like that, they'll be like, oh, thank you for your service. And if Diane's not standing right next to me because I don't want to embarrass her, then I'll usually say something like, thanks for that. However, when I signed up for the Army, they offered me a certain amount of money, and I agreed on it, so I knew what I was getting into. With that being said, I still take advantage of the veteran discount whenever I can.